Does anybody else have the theme song from the James Bond movie Octopussy playing in their head? Or better yet, the version sung by Mark Wahlberg in the movie Ted? Because we just set an all-time high, baby.
This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only. Nothing on this podcast should be construed as financial advice. All views expressed on this podcast are solely the opinions of the host and/or any guests that we might have from time to time. Nothing on this podcast should be construed as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or to follow a particular investing strategy.
Welcome to the Bitcoin Bulletin Podcast. Today is Wednesday, October 20th, 2021, and that means that it is DCA Wednesday. Are you ready to stack some sats? This will be stack number 13 on this journey that we started last January 28th. Stacking just $20 a week, we've already stacked $240 for the Bitcoin. We're about ready to make it $260, and what a day to stack. As I alluded to in the intro, we have set a new all-time high today. Depending where you look, we either hit $66,999 according to Coinbase or $66,950 according to Clark Moody's dashboard. The beauty about dollar cost averaging is that while we're buying the all-time high, we've also picked up a few dips along the way. And those are sure paying off today. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, what is dollar cost averaging, you might ask? Well, dollar cost averaging, or DCA, is commonly understood to be an investment strategy where you invest your money in equal portions at regular intervals regardless of price. We chose $20 and we chose Wednesdays. And each Wednesday we've stacked $20 regardless of price. And doing so has acquired us 506,675 Satoshis, worth a total of $334.25, which is not too shabby considering we only invested $240. And while it's easy to look like a genius during a bull run, that is a 39% return, which is certainly a lot better than most other investments out there that you could have made in that same time period. Of course, the best time to purchase Bitcoin would have been back in 2010, but as they say, the second best time is right now. The reason we started this podcast is because almost every day on Twitter, on the Bitcoin subreddits, you'll see somebody chime in and say, hey, am I too late? Or, hey, I've only got $100. Is that too little? Have I missed the boat? And the answer, obviously, is no. Again, not financial advice. But, for example, just yesterday, there was somebody saying that they could only afford $50 a week, and they didn't feel like that was going to be enough to make a difference, that it would be wasting their time to invest it. While many people pointed out that they should just DCA, we've taken that one step further and created a podcast where I'm actually trying out the theory of dollar cost averaging so that you can follow along. And again, this is for information purposes only, but do your own research. Obviously, don't invest any money you can't afford to lose. Certainly don't invest any money that you're going to need right now or right away to pay your bills, to buy food, etc. But as they say, you do you. You pick an amount that you feel comfortable with and invest on a schedule that you feel comfortable with. And hopefully this podcast will be useful for you. I think we've already been able to show that just by investing $20 a week, we've already been able to save up more than the average family lives on in a month or more in many countries, particularly in South America and places such as El Salvador. But again, do your own research and you pick an amount that you feel comfortable with. For many people, $20 is not a whole lot of money. For other people, it's a lot of money. So, if you are the sort of person that can afford to invest $1,000 a week, imagine where you'd be right now. And then again, if you're the sort of person where $20 a week is a lot of money, then you're certainly feeling really happy about your investment. Again, as they say, time in the markets beats timing the markets every time it's tried. With that said, let's get right to it. As usual, we're going to make our stack using the Cash App. Of course, if you don't already have the Cash App, there is a referral link in the notes below. And if you click on that link and use our referral code, you'll get $5 free just for signing up, and we'll get $5 as well, which will help us out. But again, use whatever app you want. We're going to go ahead and use Cash App. And as I've stated in every episode so far, the reason we chose the Cash App is because it's easy. It has relatively low fees. It's not the cheapest way to buy Bitcoin, but it certainly isn't the most expensive. One of the things that we take into account is that even though they charge about a 2.25% fee for stacking, they do not charge a fee to withdraw to your hardware wallet as long as you follow their terms and conditions. And so sometimes, particularly when the transactions, when the mempool is full and transaction fees go up, what you save in mining fees can make up for that 2.5%, or at least make the difference between that 2.25% that is, and whatever percentage you'd be paying on a cheaper platform. So we're going to open up our Cash App. And again, I don't normally keep any money on the Cash App, but I do have a debit card linked to it, so I can add $20 pretty much instantly. And once I have that money added, we're going to click on the Bitcoin logo, and we're going to manually enter $20. Now, as I've said before, Cash App will let you automate your purchase. You can set up a recurring purchase, or you can even set up basically what's like a limit order where it won't purchase unless it hits a price that you specify. But I like to manually enter purchase and hit send or confirm, just because it feels more like I'm involved to actually physically click purchase in lieu of just waking up and finding sats in my wallet in the morning. So we enter $20, and it says that we're going to get 29,635 sats after a 45-cent fee. And that's going to be at a price of $65,969.29. So down a tiny bit since we hit that all-time high this afternoon. And then we're going to go ahead and hit confirm. And voila! We've just added 29,635 Satoshis to our stash. And that is going to bring us up to a grand total of 536,310 sats, which is currently worth $353.79 for a grand total of $260 invested. Again, it's easy to look like a genius during a bull run. Who knows what it'll look like if Bitcoin dips again, or maybe we end up with another crypto winter. But dollar cost averaging is a long-term play. You need to stack those sats and hold on for at least 4 years, if not more like 10 years. If you believe in Bitcoin the way I believe in Bitcoin, I don't ever intend to sell those Satoshis. But certainly we're not looking to make a quick buck, definitely not at $20 a week. Although if Bitcoin does make it to $1 million one day, that would be $5,363.10 worth of Bitcoin, and that ain't too shabby for a $260 investment. So what is your favorite all-time high meme? Let us know in the comments, or hit us up at Bitcoin Bulletin at protonmail.com, or of course on Twitter at BTC Bulletin Pod. Hey, if you've been enjoying this podcast and you would like to help support us, there are a number of ways you can do so. Obviously, as we mentioned, if you do have the ability to tip on Twitter and you're not already, you can follow us, and we're at BTC Bulletin Pod on Twitter. So we'd appreciate the follow. And if you have the ability, you can tip us there. Also, if you don't have the Cash App already and you would like to use the Cash App to add to your stack, there is a referral link in the show notes. And if you sign up for Cash App and follow their terms and conditions, but if you do so by clicking on that referral link in the show notes, you'll get $5 free, and we'll get $5 free as well just for you signing up. Another way is I've written several books, but the one that is most relevant to this podcast is Understanding Bitcoin for Noobs, and it's available at both Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com, and obviously by purchasing any of my books, that will help support the podcast. You can also support us directly through Anchor.com, and there's a support link in the show notes. And last but not least, we also include a Base32 Bitcoin address in the show notes where you can send us Bitcoin directly if you choose to do so. And if you'd like to contact me or give us any suggestions on what you'd like about the show or what you don't like about the show, again, we're at BTC Bulletin Pod on Twitter. And you can also contact me via email at bitcoinbulletin@protonmail.com. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Bitcoin Bulletin Podcast, DCA Wednesday edition. As usual, thank you for listening, and keep stacking those sats, you sexy sat stackers.